इस शहर में गुजरे हैं यादों के लम्हे.
Welcome to a brand new season of Salaam Namaste Singapore Season 4. After 3 very successful seasons, we are back again. And this is very special. This is after we went through one of the hardest times during the pandemic. What the pandemic taught us was hope and resilience. And what it made us realize that health, mental and physical, is very important. In my first segment of this series, I'll be talking to experts who will be addressing some key issues and educating us on pertinent topics. I'm very happy to have in this episode Kalpalata from Calm Wellness Center, who is a psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, and a mindfulness expert. Kalpa, welcome to Salaam Namaste Singapore.
Hi Vinay, thank you for having me on the show. The pleasure is all mine.
Lovely. You know, Kalpa, I've been waiting to have this on the show to talk about mental health. I think what the pandemic taught us is mental health is extremely important. Sometimes we ignore all the symptoms that come over. What it made me personally realize is to give importance to it and not let it go easily. If I feel anything about it, to reach out to seek help. Like how we get cough and cold, we go to a doctor. It's also important that when my mind is not okay, to reach out for help. And you are a psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, and a mindfulness expert. So what exactly do you do to us, and what is your service?
To put it in just one sentence, my work is all about helping people to relook, rewire, and redefine themselves for a positive approach and for a positive outlook in life.
Lovely. And let's talk about the psychotherapist part. Psychology, counseling, all that you do under that wing, right? There are many things that come to our mind when we talk about psychology and counseling. Simple things like I'm not able to sleep, I'm very stressed, I have anxiety attacks, to depression, OCD. The topics are very wide. Can you just tell us in a very simple term, who exactly needs a psychotherapist?
Anybody who is going through a stressful time in their life and anything that is disrupting their daily schedule, their working efficiency, and their relationships around them definitely would do a lot better by going for help, seeking therapy.
Right. And so it can be any issues that is affecting their productivity and
just about anything. You don't have to have a serious mental health illness to seek a counseling session or go to a therapist. It's even better to actually nip things in the bud, because if you let things fester, that is when they compound, complicate, and really become a complex mental health issue.
When people talk about counseling or psychotherapy, what exactly happens during those sessions, and is it addictive? One of the things that I've always heard people tell is, I don't want to go to a counselor because I will end up being addicted to that, and I don't know how long will that take.
For life.
For life. So is it like how we go to see a physical doctor?
Exactly.
Or rather going to see a doctor for physical illnesses?
It's exactly the same, Vinay. You're right on spot. Just like you would seek professional or medical advice for a cold, fever, whatever the issue may be, the same way it would do good to go through a therapist for any kind of a mind-related issue. And no, you don't get addicted to it. The nice thing about it, why people actually feel addicted to it, is it provides a safe environment, a very confidential setting, in a very non-judgmental approach. And that is something so rare in today's world.
Right.
So you get to air all your worries, all your issues, not thinking about in the back of your mind if you're going to be judged, if you're going to be scorned, and if your stories are going to travel around the world.
Can you throw light in terms of what are the basic things that we can identify as a problem so that we can seek help? Most of the time we don't know that we have a problem.
Very true. Most commonly, if you do have sleep issues, please don't delay seeking help, because that is sort of the root cause of many issues, because sleeping is when your body rejuvenates and refreshes itself, mind and body. So even if you have a sleep issue, seek help. A lot of people come to me for anxiety. Depression and OCD are very loosely used terms in today's world. So even if you think you're a bit low in energy, feeling lonely, or you have a relationship issue going on, if you're feeling frustrated and pressured at work, These are all the common reasons why people can seek therapy. And of course, the mental health serious ones are there, like anxiety, depression, clinically diagnosed issues and illnesses, even schizophrenia. And it's important when you go for these diagnosed illnesses, you go to someone with a mental health background or someone who's at least familiar with these diagnosed illnesses, because there's a difference in counseling diagnosed serious mental health issues and common issues that almost all of us go through one time or the other.
Right. And does it have to be physical, or we are living in a virtual world now after pandemic? So can it be both virtual or physical?
Oh, it can very well go online as well. In fact, over the last 2 years, I've had several cases from start all the way to finish, completely conducted online, and it has had extremely effective results.
Interesting. And if people watching this, if they want to reach out for a simple counseling session, if they think that they have a mental health issue, or if they've identified a problem and seeking for a solution, how can they reach out to you?
Very simply put, even if you are in doubt whether you do need counseling or not, I offer a free half-hour session for people to find out what it is all about. So you can reach me at Calm Wellness Center through Instagram, on my web page, or just send a text to +65 8133 4495. And you can gauge for yourself if it is for you for the first half hour, which is definitely free, and then decide if you want to continue and have a proper session.
Free session to diagnose if you have a mental health issue or not, to understand the patient, I think will go a long way. Thank you actually for that service. I think my viewers will be very, very happy to know that they can reach out to somebody to understand if they have an issue or not. And it was lovely talking to you about this very, very pertinent topic, which is very important in today's times, Kalpa. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Vinay. In fact, it's very important to spend on your self-care and self-help, especially when it comes to mental health. And it's definitely a worthy spending, I can tell you that for sure.
Right.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Pleasure is all mine. So Kalpa spoke about mental health, Kalpa spoke about counseling and psychotherapy sessions. You know, there are so many issues that we deal with on day-to-day basis. Sometimes we don't know if you're going through mental health issues or not. We don't know what exactly is it leading to. As she said in her own words, nip it in the bud. So if you have any doubt, if you're having issues with productivity, creativity, not letting you do your day-to-day activities at ease, then reach out to Kalpa for a free half-an-hour session to understand if you really need help or not. So you're watching Salaam Namaste Singapore Season 4. I'm going to take a short break. You don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Salaam Namaste Singapore Season 4. This segment is dedicated to health. I have Dr. Anis, who's a thoracic surgeon, talk to us about lung health, which is extremely important in today's scenario. Dr. Anis, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Very happy to have you, and most importantly, give my viewers some very important information on lung health. Post-pandemic, everyone realized that health is so important. And one of the key things that it affected during the second variant was lungs, was about lung health and lung issues and stuff. So if you can just talk a little bit about what is actually having a good lung health.
Lung health is predominantly a subconscious effort of every human to take a few breaths, which keeps him alive. Any common virus which infects human beings somehow has its effect on lung health. Unfortunately, the present pandemic, lung is the headline organ, and it leaves its scars, and the long-term effects of it is unknown. So people who have taken care of their lungs before will probably get out of this better than those people who've not taken care of themselves.
Right. And when we talk about having a good lung health, what are the things that people usually see as symptoms for a bad lung health?
Lungs are like balloons. So when you are growing up, whatever culture you may belong to, you're always taught how to breathe.
True.
And breathing exercise is part of your culture, especially in an Asian culture.
Correct.
If you had followed that from childhood to adult, you're actually better off.
True.
But along the way, we get corrupted. We tend to smoke, fashionably vape nowadays.
That's become the latest fad.
Yeah, unfortunate. We also become lazy couch potatoes. We don't move that much, so our lungs don't move along. So when your balloons are not very well exercised, they form a reservoir, what I call lazy lung syndrome, which allows unnecessary visitors to come and sit there and start to proliferate, and brings down your immune system and health, and then gives place for the virus to develop faster.
And another thing that is probably in the last 2 decades that we have seen so much more is cancer. And lung cancer is something that we hear more often than before. So tell us more about lung cancer and why is it caused?
Sitting in Singapore in 2022, lung cancer has got different connotations. In the 80s and 90s, we could always say, do not smoke, you will definitely get lung cancer, or lung cancer is caused exclusively by smoking. As science moved ahead and we realized there is much more in lung cancer, unfortunately, we are starting to diagnose more and more lung cancer. And we're also diagnosing more lung cancer in women
Don't smoke.
who don't smoke.
Right.
90% of women who get lung cancer in this part of the world don't smoke. So it is very hard to justify in them saying that smokers' disease causes lung cancer.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm advocating smoking to be any fad. No, it's otherwise. But lung cancer has got many causes, which ranges from smoking, which is still a very important cause, environmental factors, which are still being studied. We live in a very polluted world,
Yeah.
a by-effect of which is a pandemic which we are suffering right now. And also there are so many industrial carcinogens which we are not aware of, which can trigger off a lung cancer in many people.
And what's the kind of treatment that you are available for people with lung cancer?
With the present day technology, we are able to diagnose lung cancer early. Once you diagnose them early, if they are treatable, you can get cure rates as high as 70 to 80%. The key word I said is to get them early. So lung cancer is usually treated by surgery, by chemotherapy, radiation therapy, and there are different advancements in every individual fields.
Right. And we keep reading about the latest advancement in technology in robotic surgery and stuff. How much does it help in lung cancer treatment?
As a thoracic surgeon, it is my domain to talk about lung surgery. The key word is called minimally invasive surgery.
Right.
Or maybe 20-30 years ago, you will require a big cut across your chest to operate on a lung cancer to get that out. That is quite morbid because you want to go back to good health quickly after an operation.
Yeah.
So by using the word minimally invasive, we say that we make this operation through small cuts. So in a layman's term, you can say it as keyhole surgery.
Keyhole surgery.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it is done by 2 or 3 holes in your body and we get the cancer out. It is on a 2-dimensional platform, which is called video-assisted surgery. But if you use a stereoscopic, a 3D vision with the help of advanced equipment, it is called robotic-assisted surgery.
Right.
In all the cases, the surgeon is operating. The technology is just assisting him.
Right. And it's more the advancement of technology monitored by a surgeon.
Yes, absolutely.
And what are the things that people get diagnosed with lung cancer at various stages, right? We always, when we talk about cancer, we always hear the word called recurrence, which is quite dreadful. So in lung cancer, what kind of recurrence occur? What do you see usually?
60% to 70% of lung cancers we see are not early lung cancers,
Right.
even in this modern day world. So usually talking about stage 3 or 4. So for a stage 1, for example, if you treat by surgery, which is the correct way to treat, I will always tell the patient, hey, you got a good 80% chance of cure. But it's never 100%. So there's always a 20% chance that the cancer will come back in spite of me taking the cancer out. That's the word for recurrence.
Right.
So we have a pattern where we follow up the patient for 5 years, and then we tell the patient you are cleared, you can go back to society as any other patient if you don't have. The dreaded word you said is recurrence. So they are on continuous follow-up, and recurrence is unfortunately quite common in lung cancer.
Right. And to my viewers, lastly, what I want to ask you is, what are the top 3 things that they can do in their daily life to kind of keep a good lung health?
Number 1 is exercise, which is in your total control.
Yeah.
It is your time, it is your body, and improve your aerobic capacity, which increases your lung health vastly. Number 2 is don't smoke. So, or use any abusive substances which harms your lung health. Don't smoke, don't vape, stay away from industrial carcinogens. Number 3 is an overall lifestyle. So if you have an active, generally active lifestyle, as they say, keep your mind and body healthy, which definitely improves in lung health, because lung is the largest lymphoid organ in the body, which is a key progenitor for your immunity in general. So if you keep your immune system well, your lung health will also be well.
Right. So just breathing.
Just breathe.
Yeah.
Breathe well, live well.
That's wonderful, Dr. Anees. That was very informative. And I'm going to be back again with you for another interesting episode and another interesting topic. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's it in this segment. What Dr. Anees mentioned was about lung health, lung cancer, and all the treatment that you can get for it. So don't forget, I think what is pertinent here is having a good lifestyle. So good sleep, good exercise, good lifestyle. I think it's like a tripod. You can avoid a lot of things when you have these 3 at bay. So make sure that you follow them. You don't go anywhere. I'm going to be back again with another interesting segment. This is Vinay Bharadwaj. You're watching Salaam Namaste Singapore Season 4. Welcome back. You're watching Salaam Namaste Singapore Season 4. In this segment, I'm very honored to have my guest who's going to talk about a lot of things that happened in the last 2 years during the pandemic. He is one of the most eminent personalities of Singapore. Group CEO, Executive Director of SGX listed Digi Life Limited, Vice Chairman of Singapore Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Manish Tripathi. Manish ji, very, very happy to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here and namaste and greetings to all. Vinay, always a pleasure to meet you. How are you?
Wonderful, Manish ji. And I was waiting to have this conversation and get you on my show. We are into our season 4 now. I've had an opportunity to talk to many, many guests, and I was looking forward to this conversation because you, on a personal capacity, I have been inspired, and I want to make sure that my viewers know about your amazing stuff that you do and inspire us.
Thank you for the very kind words, Vinay. I don't know if I have done what you have said, but it has been a wonderful journey in Singapore. 22 years went like a flash.
The pandemic has not been easy on any of us. As you very rightfully said, everyone has gone through their journeys. Some people have found something new, and some people have lost a lot of people during this pandemic as well. Grief, acceptance, finding something new has all been part of our lives. So tell us, how did you go through the last 2.5 years, and what have you observed that has happened during the pandemic?
I think humanity has won another huge battle, and we've been doing it for millions of years, right? And kudos to all of us. We have viewed this from 2 angles, two lenses. One is the business part, because we run a listed company. I'm a part of that, and we have close to 3,000 employees spread over various countries in ASEAN, from India to Malaysia to Singapore, Indonesia, and so on and so forth. So we could get a view or a lens of how people coped up in the business angle. The second view which I got through my position in SICI, Singapore Indian Chamber of Commerce, and there being a part of the COVID task force, we observed very closely how people at all levels, SMEs, micro SMEs, entrepreneurs, sometimes startups, budding startups, how they have managed, and everybody has their own way of dealing stress, right? And how they have managed and dealt with this stress. And I'm very happy to note that all of them possibly has come out as winners.
If you have to share an anecdote on a personal level, what have you kind of seen people figuring out during this pandemic?
I'll be generalizing this, but if I would bucket them into two brackets.
Okay.
There was one bracket of people who, what my parents and my grandparents taught me to do, have a 360 degrees personality. So we were told not to be just bookworms. Education is one part, but sports, fitness, music, art, charity, right? Having a friend circle, even having somebody to lean back outside the family. You know, we were forced to have this, a very community 360 degrees personality. And I found that people who had ecosystems outside family was very important, right? And they had various other passions. They survived differently. And people who had less of a support system outside family, and some did not even have that support, they had a very hard time handling stress. On my Singapore Indian Chamber of Commerce role, I found that these startups were the most badly hit. Money dried up, markets were closed, the guys had dreams, and suddenly they found their dreams are possibly being shattered. I mean, nobody had a view. See, uncertainty is the biggest killer.
True.
It is not health, nothing else. It is when you don't see the light, the uncertainty for startups. So we found the startups were the biggest hit, and of course after that, micro SMEs, SMEs, and the bigger guys survived. What we did in the chamber is we started a program called Siki Launchpad, and we started inspiring startups by saying, okay, the chamber will come back and give you investment, and we will just reignite the whole startup ecosystem. And again, within the startups, some people started giving up, but the real true entrepreneurs, they have still survived.
That's true. You and I met, I think, post the first lockdown. We met when you had an idea of giving a tribute to the frontline warriors. It was your brainchild when you told me that, Vinay, how about doing something in terms of appreciating the efforts that the frontline medical workers and all the people have done for us, right? So I would love for you to talk about that particular piece of work.
When we met at Starbucks, right? And again, it was a napkin discussion. And we must thank, if I may say, the Paradise Holding, the producers. And thanks to you, Vinay, we created a concept. I'm happy to say that the docu-series or the mini-series called White Coat Warriors and Disease X, which is a tribute to frontline workers and how 3 doctors fought and survived, how their family, what they felt, what they went through. So that was created, and it is now, I think, being aired on certain platforms, right? So this is how it was my way of handling stress. I said, if I have time, what can I do which I could not do before?
And White Coat Warriors were premiered in Colors, on Colors TV, Asia Pacific, and the kind of response that we got. People have told us that it moved them. It made them realize they all have gratitude towards the frontline warriors, but what that docu-film, a special film giving a tribute to frontline warriors did, was reinstate that feeling and be more appreciative and be more kinder. I think that's what it did, and thanks to you and Paradise Group for actually bringing that project together. I think that was wonderful. And lastly, I want to talk to you about your personal journey of wellness and fitness, because you are somebody who I always get fascinated by. You are fit physically, mentally, you take so much importance and give time to yourself in terms of your mental and physical health. So, give us some tips that you do so that my viewers and I can get inspired by it.
Previously, I used to push I have 2 boys, I have 2 sons, to be fit. And now it has turned the other way. They inspire me to be fit. All 3 of us do marathons, we play cricket, we do all kinds of fitness. My wife does yoga. And as a unit, we find that if we are healthy, we just have those extra miles in our legs. I mean, now it is all closed, to enjoy more. When you are, for example, on a road trip, and if you can't even walk 2 kilometers, what road trip is that, right? So fitness is like a mantra to me. I mean, I just want to live healthier, not longer. There is this very important thing which I must mention here, Vinay. if you add 10 years of your life, nobody wants to add 10 years of illness of your life.
That's
right.
Salaam Namaste Singapore Season 4 is about kind of giving education and motivation to people, because mental and physical health is very, very important, and your life is definitely inspiring. And I'm sure somebody who's sitting there and thinking about going for a walk the next day and procrastinating might get up and say, you know what, let me go for the walk today, and start with baby steps. Wonderful having you on Salaam Namaste. It's always been a pleasure talking to you, and talking to you on the show has been more inspiring. Manishji, thank you so much for coming to the show.
Pleasure is all my way. And
you.
greetings to everybody.
I'm going to be back again with another interesting segment. This is Vinay Bharadwaj. You're watching Salaam Namaste Singapore Season 4.